गुड मॉर्निंग इंडिया एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। We on to the 23rd day of the Iran war, and we'll get an update and analysis today of the 22nd up to the 22nd day what's happened. At the outset, I'd like to say this is not coming to you only on Gunner Shot, but it's also coming to you through P Gurus. Please do like and subscribe to both the channels. Yeah, right. With no prejudice to either. I keep repeating, those of you who are on P Gurus, do subscribe to Gunner Shot, and those of you who are on Gunner Shot, you subscribe to P Gurus, right? Exclusively, so that you get the best of both channels, and and do also press that bell icon so that you get intimations, and then you have a bouquet and menu to choose from. Right. Having said that, what's happening in the Iran war? And let's get to the headlines of important newspapers and see what they say. Now, New York Times, today morning, and in fact, not today morning, yesterday evening, it says Trump is eyeing an exit from Iran. Will he take it? But let's see what that exit is all about. That's why I put the thing of exit strategy. Is that exit strategy of just quitting? That's a cartoon there. That's my sense of humor. Okay, right. Okay, Iranian missiles. You know uh, they've hit Iran. Sorry, Iranian missiles have hit Israel, and they've hit the Dimona reactor. They've hit Dimona, not the reactor. Dimona is the place in central Israel where Israel has a nuclear reactor. Interesting. They've evaded all air defenses. Yesterday, with General Saxena, I did explain to all of you. It's very difficult to get hold of a ballistic missile, right? I mean, all what has this war proven? It has proven this anti-ballistic missile, shield AWO works to a level. After that, it doesn't work. Okay. The hope in all this is you will not use 10, 20, nuclear weapons. If it's that one odd thing, you'll track and catch it. But if you're going to fire a barrage of anti-ballistic missiles, which go into the outside the atmosphere, go into the space and re-enter, they've got supersonic speed, not super hyper to hypersonic speed. Why? Because in space, any object, this is physics, there's nothing very great about it, goes at about 200 kilometers per second. Okay, just think that Earth is revolving 36,000 kilometers in 24 hours. Oh, that whole revolution. So this is going at 200, and that 200 depends on whether what the height and all that. But 200 is a ballpark figure. It's coming back at 200 kilometers per hour. So it will catch 14, 15, 16 Mach. Some will, retardation will take place on re-entry and things like that. But still it has residual velocity. That will be hypersonic. And that's why it's difficult to catch a ballistic missile. Okay, it's difficult technology, but well, Iran has it, and all the best to them. And that's why it doesn't. This is important. Why I'll get back to this story. A nuclear reactor, by nature, should have been heavily defended. Right? This has penetrated even that. So this is a huge lesson for us. We have so many nuclear reactors. We want to go nuclear, yeah, all that. So the importance of Sudarshan Chakra and all that, and we have to. And I don't think personally. I mean, I'm being maybe skeptical about it, maybe critical about it, but I don't think this realization has come. I do hope someone in, you know, either the PMO or the NSA or the Chief of Defense Staff, someone realize if you want to go nuclear and if nuclear energy is the way forward for all of us, all our nuclear sites have to be protected well. Sudarshan Chakra has to be rethought after this war. And I'll talk of it one of these days with uh, Sandeep Punithan. Because yesterday I started a story, I'll take it to its logical conclusion. Okay. And then he's talking of a look at the escalating battle for the Strait of Hormuz. Those of you who can access New York Times, Please go and have a look at this article. It tells you all the options for Hormuz, though I don't agree with most of them. Okay, that's a different story. Right. And again, yesterday evenings, the New York Times says why energy is such a potent target in the war with Iran. And I'll explain this to you a little how much this war is about hitting energy areas. Tel ka kel. Okay. Right. The and the next thing is the US economy is insulated from high oil prices. But Americans aren't. I mean, it's very funny that America has surplus in oil and the gas prices are also going up there. And the flip is happening in India. Right. Okay. Washington Post says US lifts sanctions of millions of barrels of oil, Iranian oil. I did speak of this yesterday or day before. They're taking the sanctions off so that the Iranian oil can be brought into the market. But I don't think Iran said I don't have any oil floating in tankers. But America says so. But let's see where this whole story goes. But the more important thing is what happened today morning, or rather latest, which I picked up. Trump has threatened to obliterate Iran's power plants if Strait of Hormuz does not open. He says, I'll give you 24 hours. You don't open the Strait of Hormuz, I'm going to take your power plants off. Then what can Iran do? Is a question mark. Has he made this threat based on the Iranians' residual capacity or not? We don't know. Has he got that military input? Okay, Iran has got this capability only and no more. So we'll have to see how this whole story goes. But this might be an escalation. It could be an escalation or it could bring things to a close. So let's see, right? Uh, okay, same thing Al Jazeera says. Trump says no ceasefire. As Khamenei tells Dizing, yo, that this was yesterday, right? He said no ceasefire and all that. And Trump threatens attack on Iran power plants. Today morning's news, right? It's an interesting development, but we'll see whether this will happen, not happen, what happens, what is the negotiation, all that. Ultimately, there has to be a negotiation, and we'll talk of that negotiation also a little. I'm getting to China. I keep showing China, South China morning, but they talk nothing of note about the Iran war. Why are they not doing it? I keep reiterating. They don't want anyone to know how if and when Iran regime topples. They don't want people to discuss this within. This is South China Morning Post. I'm not going into the Mandarin sites. I don't know what the discussion there is. They have kept it off their headlines. And if there is anything, it is against USA. It appears as if Iran is winning in all those. Or rather, America is losing. So there's a heavy propaganda. And I think that's inward, they're worried internally. I keep saying this. If if Iran topples and this catches fire, China is next. And they're worried about that. Whether China is next or not is irrelevant. But the narrative. If the narrative goes inside, they're gone. So they're worried. And that firewall is not as impervious as one thought. What is the latest tally? This is the latest tally. Okay. Uh, Not many people are getting killed. That's the interesting part. Okay. But the number of people getting killed and wounded in Lebanon is going high. So the Lebanon's part of the story, the numbers are increasing, the situation is going back to us. Is it a sign? Virtually the Iraq militias and the Lebanon militias have got back, Hezbollah. Whether they have come back to steam or not is a different story, but they're getting hit badly. Iran has to divert Israel. It's doing it through that because Iran, uh, well, can it handle Israel and USA together? It's difficult, but it's handling, and it's handling through these proxies. Okay. Now, this is a very interesting thing. I told you New York Times what the whole story is. about the opening of this Strait of Hormuz. I'll spend a minute because this map explains a lot of things. These are the shipping channels. If you see, this is the Strait of Hormuz. This is Musandam Peninsula of Oman, United Arab Emirates. This is a Kashem island, which is about 120 kilometers long this way. And this, of course, is the southern coast of Iran. This is the Strait of Hormuz. See the channels. There are two channels, this way and that way. They are one-way channels. All ships follow these channels, and these are the shipping lanes again across around the strait, and then it goes into this thing. Now, what am I trying to put out here? Look, if you look at these channels, these islands which are here, Tunb, I spoke of it, upper, smaller Tunb, greater Tunb, Abu Musa, Sikri, and all this Jakar, Lakad, these islands, if you get hold of, then you control the lanes. And at this point of time, it is Iran who's controlling these lanes, right? That is why the thing. So if you get hold of these islands and take them off, and you don't have to do many more things. Like look, all the story I have said earlier. Right, in my earlier analysis. In fact, yesterday, this is what I was trying to get home with, when I was speaking with Sandeep Punithan. Actually, this picture reiterates what I've been saying. And, if I were a military man, this is the way I look at it. Just think, if you can get hold of these islands, these three, four, five islands, this channel at least you'll open. Right, you'll open, get it, right? This channel, if you take this logically, it'll go like this. At least one-way channel you'll open. You get them to the Musandam Peninsula. You put a screen. Anything coming from Kushum, you can, obliterate or rather block. Okay, put some patrols out there on the other side and keep engaging Kushum and convoy them through. And this convoy business, you go back to Second World War. Warfare is never becomes old. Go in Second World War. What happened? There was this Lend-Lease agreement between USA and Russia. So, what is this Lend-Lease agreement? Stuff from war supplies used to go from USA to Russia, right? And they used to be convoyed and taken. Why were they convoyed and taken? They were convoyed and taken because of the U-boat threat from Germany. A lot of ships sank. A lot of merchant mariners sank. There's no doubt about it. But the convoy procedure worked, and Russia got what it wanted, and it defeated allies. I mean, the Axis powers, Germany, all that. So something similar has to work out. You can do that, provided you have a leg to stand on. Today, we don't have a leg to stand on. And my guess is, first and foremost, this is what it is. But will it come to that? Not. All that we'll see as it unfolds, because a lot of surprises in this war keep coming up. Okay. And then the interesting development which happened day before yesterday. We touched upon it yesterday, but now I'm going to analyze it a little more. See, Iran fired a missile at Digo Garsha. This is the blow up of Digo Garsha. The 4,000. Digo Garsha is 3,900 kilometers or 4,000. You need a missile at 4,000 kilometers range. They fired two missiles. One missile malfunctioned; it didn't reach. And the second missile, they say it has been interrupted or rather shut down. This is a question mark. Anyway, whatever it is, they didn't reach Diego Garcia. What does this tell us? It tells us two, three things. One, Iran does have the capability to go up with their missiles up to 4,000 kilometers. You remember the clip I showed you of Tulsi Gabbard, which said, look, we have absolute intelligence of Iran having developed missiles which can reach the continental states, would be a threat. Even Pakistan came into mention. China, North Korea anyway had. China, North Korea, Russia anyway had. We don't have that capability. We just have about a capability of about 6,000 kilometers at this point of time with the Agni series. But Iran with 4,000 kilometers. Earlier, everyone thought it was 2,000 kilometers. Now it is. They have the capability to go to 4,000. Is it something great? Well, if you can go to 2,000, you can go to 4,000. Right? It's a matter of propulsion. the propulsion technology. That's why I keep saying propulsion technology is one of the military technologies of this century which we have to master. We have mastered it. It's not as if we have not mastered it. Let me tell you this. But anyone who has good propulsion technology, we can do all the stunts. GPS, AI, वगैरह बाद में. Propulsion technology, core technology. It's like an engine. Okay, you need an engine. And propulsion technology is all chemistry. And incidentally, yours truly is working on it. That's how the ramjet. I'm trying to put my collar up. That's about all. हम भी हैं. Right. Uh, and let me make a point. When you come to Gunner Shot, you get a whole 360-degree analysis, the technology part, the non-tech part, the kinetic part, the non-kinetic part, the geopolitical part, and the domestic part. That's why you should all subscribe to Gunner Shot. Anyway, that's how it is. So this is the thing which happened. It also shows that Iran doesn't have the full technology to go there. It doesn't have that rocket motor which can go to 4 kilometers. No, I mean not 4,000 kilometers, 4K kilometers. So there are issues, but once they have the basic technology, the rest is a matter of time. Okay, so this has provoked reactions. What is the interesting thing? He says with 4,000 kilometers range, you can reach. You might not reach Degogasha, but you know Europe, Berlin, Paris, Rome, all these are within range. Now the Europeans and all will now align with USA. See, many things you do have repercussions which you don't understand. What is Iran's way of looking at it? Oh, I can reach you in Degogasha. I'm a great power. And I can hit you. This is the heat of the battle. They have not thought through this whole thing. Now the political ramifications are very simple. Now Europe gets threatened by Iran. They have the delivery capability of 4,000 kilometers. They've proven it. The moment they have the delivery of capability of 4,000 kilometers, so far 2,000 kilometers, if Iran had a nuclear warhead, they'll hit around an end of story. But now, it's not only the entire Europe. If Iran has a nuclear warhead and it can get this 4,000 kilometers range, it can hit Europe. Europe will feel threatened. Given uh, Iran's past dealings and all that. So Europe gets threatened, Europe will fall behind, USA no. So politically, this might backfire on Iran. They've done it tactically. The firing of this missile is tactical in nature. But Iran's response is the European response and the global response will be political in nature. If that political response comes, they will do anything to ensure it will be happening, to ensure that Iran doesn't develop this capability. So this war cannot end so easily. There'll be a lot of negotiations going ahead, even if there's a ceasefire and the Strait of Hormuz opens. So there's a switch which is happening. Please understand. कल तक आज सवेरे तक it was तेल का केल. Okay. I said if the Strait of Hormuz opens, this whole story will finish. It might not be so. This has flipped things a little bit. How this will be taken forward is something which we will, have a look at today. We'll have a look, right? Yeah. And then, of course, this is what Trump said. Okay, again, I'm playing this clip. I would like you to let me know if you can hear it or not. If you can't hear it, then of course I will. Right. Yeah, look, this chap Santosin, he says it's nonsense discussion, no substance, no content, just giving lecture, nothing new about the thing he's talking. Then bugger off, yeah. Why are you coming here and giving this nonsense comment? बड़े बेवकूफ आदमी. See, I will take you buffoons on. Buffoons who come here will get treated like buffoons. Okay, and I am an old character. I know all the bad words in every vocabulary. I'm an army chap, we know how to curse also. So please don't come here if you don't want to understand what I'm talking or you think I'm an idiot. Okay, or bloody trolls and calls and balls. With you buggers don't have balls to bloody talk of. Come on. So That's how it is. I'm not reacting, I'm making a statement. Okay, have a look at this. If you can't hear, then I will play the alternate clip. Okay, there's no audio. I'll replay this whole thing. Right. Let me get back to this. Right. I'll replay the whole thing.
Develop missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions.
So he's very clear now. Trump has come out and said, look, this indicates that what this thing. So you'll see this whole story going forward. As you keep going forward, you'll see, things happening. So, like I said, Iran, by firing this 4,000-kilometer missile, has, taken the thing off, and the focus is not only on Hormuz, it has gone political, and now you'll see something happening. Is it a great thing? No, but it gives strength. Actually, Iran has muffed it politically. Okay, Iran has muffed it politically. That is why I say because there's no leadership, there's no connect in Iran. Their politico-military synergy is weak, and people who are overtly military, young people in chair and all, don't understand what they're doing. Okay, and they're driven by an ideology. Iran is a forge which is driven by ideology. Ideologically, you have fired at me, I should fire back at you. The consequences of that you don't understand. Right? They have done that, they'll suffer the consequences. I have no doubt about it. This will not give peace to Iran. It might invite more problems. Right. Okay. Now let's go ahead with the whole story. What is this? Uh, Another guy from the IRGC, he's General Ali Mohammad Naini, its spokesperson. He's been killed in an Israeli-American missile attack. This is confirmed by Al Jazeera. So both Israel and USA are continuing their thing to knock out um top leadership or people who matter, and this will continue. So as long as this continues, you will see a denuding, uh, Iranian leadership. So who will come up? So this instability in Iran will increase. Why this instability will increase is because of the fact that the guys who will now come up, if the top leadership is gone, first, second, third rung, it's easy to say the fourth rung will come up. The fourth rung is not experienced. They will have their own things. They're not. It's not a settled leadership. If it's not a settled leadership, there'll be a leadership struggle. One, and they will be irrational. So, for Iran, it's bad. See, on certain issues, I think Trump has already won the game. That's my view. Oh, petrodollar is safe after this. No one's going to know yuan, shoan, and all is gone. So he saved that story completely. Iran, whether you like it or not, whether they can develop nuclear weapons, whether they have that 460 kg of enriched uranium or not, he has, after this whole story is over, Iran has to look inward. Their economy is shot, everything. So to that extent, I feel, Trump has already got what he's wanted, right? Iran might have got what it wanted by standing up to Trump, okay, and USA, and it will survive to fight another day. But when will that other day come after this kind of a bashing is a different question. And remember, Iran has gone through 3 cycles of this bashing. Okay, and then yesterday there was also this a briefing, operational briefing in Epic Fury. Have a look at it. This is by Brad Cooper. Understand what he says. It's just not a film. He's given a briefing. It's all what update every 2 days he's giving. So I'll let me play it.
For my fourth update on Operation Epic Fury.
So this is a fourth update. Okay.
22 of combat operations, U.S. forces continue to take bold action and remain on plan to eliminate Iran's ability to project meaningful power outside its borders. Just 2 days ago, the U.S. Army launched the longest field artillery strike in Army combat history using precision strike missiles.
So they're using artillery, HIMARS. Where can they use HIMARS and things like that? In precision strike? Across the strait. Okay, now that's the important thing. Now they started getting across the strait through artillery, ground forces, which increases their firepower. With that firepower so far has not been used. Now it comes. You don't need all air power. Now the ground firepower has come into play, which is awesome. Let's be very clear about it. So in terms of sustainability of this campaign, Iran will soon start losing out.
The strike took out Iranian military infrastructure, demonstrating the U.S. military's unmatched reach and lethality.
This is the fire of a HIMARS. Okay.
Iran has lost significant combat capability over the last 3 weeks. We are taking out thousands of Iranian missiles, advanced attack drones, and all of Iran's navy, which they use to harass international shipping. Their navy is not sailing, their tactical fighters are not flying, and they've lost the ability to launch missiles and drones at the high rates seen at the beginning of the conflict. Our progress is obvious. U.S. forces maintain air superiority over Iran's skies, having now flown over 8,000 combat flights. Our air crews are performing exceptionally across the fight, from tankers to fighters and bombers to land-based and carrier-based aviation doing a superb job. Tankers are extending our reach so that we can keep constant pressure on the enemy. Fighters and bombers are delivering precision strikes against our primary objectives, and our pilots across the board are dynamically hunting threats as well, finding and eliminating targets in real time. So far, we've struck over 8,000 military targets, including 130 Iranian vessels, constituting the largest elimination of a navy over a 3-week period since World War II. My operational assessment continues to be Iran's combat capability is on a steady decline as our offensive strikes ramp up. While U.S. forces continue to sustain overwhelming offensive firepower, I want to recognize our air defenders mounting a coordinated defense against Iran's attacks. We have built the most extensive air defense umbrella in the world over the Middle East right now. This is thanks to years of investment alongside our allies and partners to build a robust and integrated air and missile defense architecture. For more than a decade, books have been written about the concept of a Middle East air defense. Today, it's alive and well. Our Gulf partners, in particular, have defended against thousands of Iranian drones.
So this is important. What he says. He says we're going to put a Middle East umbrella. He says our Gulf partners have defended very well. So there's a coordination coming up. There's a military coordination coming up in this Arabian Peninsula, which is per se, you might laugh at it, whatever you say, but the fact is it's got political implications. Now all these Gulf monarchies are getting militarily integrated with USA. That's what he has said.
A clear demonstration of the strength of our partnerships as we work shoulder to shoulder.
So he is working shoulder to shoulder with all Gulf monarchies, right? So this is an important development which so far they have not shown, but today they're showing. That's why I said you have to see this, analyze this whole story in different levels. Politically, that's when you say Iran is losing politically, this is it.
We also remain zeroed in on dismantling Iran's decades-old threat to the free flow of commerce throughout the Strait of Hormuz. For example, earlier this week, we dropped multiple 5,000-pound bombs on an underground facility located along Iran's coastline. The Iranian regime used the hardened underground facility to discreetly store anti-ship cruise missiles, mobile missile launchers, and other equipment that presented a dangerous risk to international shipping. We not only took out the facility, but also destroyed intelligence support sites and missile radar relays that were
So they have now started concentrating on the coast. And sooner or later they'll get results. It's a matter of how much you put in. Even if they have decoys, shikoys and all. Initially, Iran had a lot of decoys. Now these chaps are seeing through the decoys. And one of the things which you have to hand it to Israelis, more Israelis than American, is they have intelligence within Iran. And it shows a weakness in Iran. Okay? The society is not as together as it seems. So they're using those cracks, getting intelligence and targeting. That doesn't mean the Iranian capability is finished. They will still retain the capability to hit back. I'm making it. But it's weaker. As days go by, it will become weaker. This is a battle of attrition, meat grinder principle. Okay.
used to monitor ship movements. Iran's ability to threaten freedom of navigation in and around the Strait of Hormuz is degraded as a result, and we will not stop pursuing these targets. At the beginning of this campaign, I sent a letter to the more than 50,000 American servicemen and women supporting Operation Epic Fury. For our forces serving in the Middle East, I'd like to reiterate three key.
Okay. So this is the thing, right? He's said. So you'll see what he said. You have to, if you analyze his all these talks, see the shift which is taking place, the political shift and the military shift. Okay. Okay. Now, like I said yesterday, despite all this, Iran has gone and attacked Dimona. Like I said, it's not as if they are down and out. They are down, Iran, but not out. Remember that. Yesterday with General Saxena, we explained to you what Iran capability still has. Let me show you this picture. This is the time when the Iranian missile hit Israeli city Dimona, where they have a nuclear reactor. There are 2-3 things in this which I'll talk of. As for this, 20 people have died, okay, injured, not died. 20 people have injured. Skyscrapers. Okay. And this attack is it's written here. If you see, it's written here that is in retaliation to the Israeli attack on Natanz. Natanz is a nuclear enrichment facility. So they hit Dimona. Okay. Okay. Now, what does this tell you? One, Iran retains the capability of hitting, Israel. And a heavily guarded facility like Dimona, that city called Dimona, can be penetrated. But there's something else which comes out of it. If I were someone in Iran, what would I target? I would target the nuclear facility. It's very simple. If that is the case, that look, you have targeted Natanz, my nuclear facility, I should take out your nuclear facility. Isn't it? That's what Iran has done. But the missile has not hit the nuclear facility. It has hit somewhere. People have died, injured. It looks great. But has that objective been achieved? No. What does it tell you? Their missiles are not that accurate. Their missiles are accurate enough to go and hit a city or a big target. If the target is big, it will hit. If the target is not big, it will not hit. Pinpoint precision capability with Iraq, is it there? It is not there. They have general destruction capability. In war, if this war has proven anything, it is this, that you need more both precision and non-precision. You don't. It's not always that you need precise targeting. Semi-precise targeting also has its value, and depends on whether you're going counter value or counter force. What is counter force? That you hit those targets which are military targets. Counter force. Counter value is against population, cities, and all that. And Iran is doing anything. Jo bhi chalega chalega, because it's getting value. Okay, it might not achieve its military objectives, but it is achieving its political objective. You have to understand, in a war of this nature, you have to be political. You have to analyze it politically. You have to analyze it militarily. Okay, now let's go ahead. Now there's some very interesting thing where we'll get out of this. Yeah, very interesting data has now started coming out. Okay, now look at this graph. It will tell you this is the number of Iranian ballistic missiles and drones launched between 20th February to 20th March. Okay, 2 days back. How many have been launched? How many ballistic missiles? This is green ones are ballistic missiles, and orange ones are drones. This is against Kuwait. Obviously, initially they went and attacked Kuwait. Okay, because US has a base there. Right. After that, it has petered out, but the drone attacks have increased as days have gone by. Okay. Now this is in Bahrain. Same. 28th March is this thing against Bahrain. Sustained attack on Bahrain. Bahrain is a small city state. Sustained attacks. Right? And initially the missiles were more. Now the drone attacks are more in between. So this is it. This is the thing in Saudi Arabia. Initially, they didn't attack Saudi Arabia. But now they've started attacking Saudi Arabia more by drones. A few missiles, but more by drones. There's a pattern which is emerging. Now, this is UAE. They initially missiles and now by drones. The drone attacks have increased. You see the thing till about March 8th, how many drone attacks they were launching in Dubai. Hell of a lot. Okay, now that is also reduced, but it is there. On an average, if you see this is 25 and this is about 24 drone attacks, and this is 4 and this thing. And if you look, they're launching at about 100 drone attacks every day. 100 drone attacks, if they're putting it in a swarm of 3 to 4 or 5, look at it. They're launching about 500 to 600 drones a day. Okay. So if I look at it, say 500 drones a day on a 20-day war, so 500 into 20 is 10,000 drones is what they have fired. And they have more capability. So their capability to fire drones is still there. And if I double it also, it's not much. This is the actuals, right? I couldn't get how much they have used only against American forces, YEVO. The data is not yet out, it will come. Right. And then, of course, this is the sites which have been targeted. If you see all the energy sites which have been damaged, where there's damage on energy related sites. That's all now the analysis is coming out. Why is this analysis good? Because it teaches lessons. As simple as that. Right? And Trump, he yesterday said, I don't want a ceasefire. You don't do a ceasefire when you're literally obliterating the other side. He says, we want to talk to them. There's nobody to talk. We like it that way. So he says, yeah, ceasefire karna hai, na karna, saaf bolo. But I don't think he will do any ceasefire after this 4,000 kilometer missile which has been fired, which I showed earlier. Till then, he was doing flip-flops. But that's Trump. Trump will do flip-flops. That's known, okay? Then he also said, look, we are getting close to meeting our objectives as we consider winding down our great military effort. So he came out in Truth Social about this. Let me make it bigger so that you can see it if you can't. Right? So he's talking of winding down. And he said, I have completely degraded Iranian missile capability, launchers, and everything else. We've destroyed Iran's defense industrial base. We eliminated their navy. We don't want to we will never allow Iran to get nuclear capability, and we want to protect our allies. This is the fundamental thing, right? The Yeah, he's talking of in the later part about the Strait of Hormuz. As I said, Strait of Hormuz still remains the center of gravity. He says this Hormuz Strait will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who use it. The United States does not. If asked, we will help these countries in their Hormuz efforts. But it shouldn't be necessary once Iran's threat is eradicated. Importantly, it will be an easy military operation for them. Thank you. All that. So the Hormuz Strait is still the crux of the story, how this will happen. Okay. And now he is shifting the onus to everyone. It's also a political move to say everyone better pitch in or fall behind me. Okay. And it's a matter of time. He's already today issued the ultimatum. If you don't open the Strait of Hormuz, I'll take out your power systems. And he's already come out with this ballistic missile thing that we have to ensure that Iran doesn't have this capability. So there's a post-war scenario also evolving. So if you take all this, is there an exit route developing, or is there an end game developing? We'll see as we go along. Might not happen, but let's see. Now, I believe Axios has come out with this article which says US has put 6 demands or 6 commitments from Iran. That is, they want Iran to renunciate the missile program for 5 years. For 5 years. After that, what happens? One doesn't know. Complete cessation of uranium enrichment. That they will not allow. Decommissioning of bombed reactors at Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo. Strict external supervision of centrifuges and nuclear facilities. Regional arms control agreement limiting the number of missiles to no more than 1,000 units. Complete cessation of funding for puppets, Hezbollah, Houthis, and Hamas. If this is done, okay, oh, Iran will become just another nation. But will Iran agree to this kind of strict thing? Iran can only agree to this only if it is completely defeated militarily, and that's not happening. I'm telling you now, Iran will not be defeated militarily. The way we think that you'll set foot and capture Iran, that's out. The victory which you'll get out of this is opening Strait of Hormuz, hammering, getting oil control, getting political control. Through political control and engineering their post-conflict regime in Iran and things like that. To get all this, you need to put boots on ground. It's not going to happen. And there's another aspect to this whole story. Arakchi, he said, why should I negotiate with Iran? After all, when I negotiated with Iran and I agreed to everything, he bombed me. So this current regime will not agree to anything. So on one side, militarily certain things are happening. On the other side, the doors for talks are closed. Iran doesn't want to negotiate. If I were in Iran's position, I would also not be in that thing because I negotiated with Trump, and next day he bombed me. He says there's no room to talk with Americans as they deceived us with the promises of no attack, even after making significant progress in negotiations. They decided to attack us anyway. The experience is extremely bitter, and trust is completely non-existent. The regional war slams the door on diplomacy shut for good. This is what they say, and I agree with the Iranians. If I were an Iranian, I would agree to this. So there has to be an external influence which comes in. There has to be mediation. None of the Europeans will be allowed in this. We'll talk of this a little later. Now, all the 12 countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council, because they had a meeting day before yesterday of the foreign ministers, they put out a statement. immediately halt attacks and peace, all that. But Iran has not responded to that. But certain other things have happened which have politically strengthened US hand. UAE and Bahrain have announced full media normalization with Israel, of all things. Right? Official TV channels from UAE and Bahrain officially merge with Israel's channel 12. I don't know how right or wrong this is, but this is there. So let's see how this goes. These are important things which are happening. Media alignment. Qatar, Al Jazeera is against. Al Jazeera has not gone the Israel way, but Al Jazeera has come out against Iran in some manner. So media isolation, the narratives from Iran will get scotched. Okay, and then of course, yesterday the Taif Air Base has been opened to US. Just come on 2 3 channels. I put out what NDTV has said. So the alignment against Iran is becoming stronger. Okay, UAE UAE has said we are committed to investing into US. UAE might get hit by now, but UAE will recover. Financial services will recover. Oil production will recover. If not in 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, it will recover after this war. It's not permanent. Iran is not taking over UAE, isn't it? And they said we will commit. We are committed to going and investing into USA, as per what Trump wanted. So you see the alignment of political alignment between Iran, not Iran, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar. They're all leading into USA. Not Qatar that much. Qatar is Qatar. Oh, in between he'll play games. But now he'll need, because who will open that damn gas field? If that gas field is not opened, Qatar's value will go down. So Qatar also will fall in line. So if all these chaps are falling in line, who are they falling in line against? Iran. So Iran is losing politically. Right? Okay. Then Iraq has come out. You see, there's a difference between what's happening in Iraq, militias, and Iraq. The Iraq government decided why is now started telling Iran, why are you doing all this? I'm suffering. So I don't agree with what you're doing. So this is a new thing which has come. Because they are also suffering. You see, so far we have not spoken of Iraq, we have not spoken of Syria. But there's an interesting development. I don't know how far this will go or not. Yesterday, Ansar Allah, Houthis, they have said this battle is for the entire Ummah. So we will target any American ships going through the Bab al Mandab. Now, is this a flip by Houthis? Because Houthis were bought out. There is a deal, paisa deke. Are Houthis out of the story? Or rather, Houthis out of the deal to get back into fighting? We'll have to see. So, when one door seems shut, another opens. That's Middle East. That's West Asia for you. So, as much as something is positive is going, or it seems as if there's a solution, something else is happening. Overall, it will continue. They'll keep killing each other. Okay. Then, of course, at the international level, Brazil is the first one he said. He said, you can't allow Trump to think that he owns the world. One day he bombs Iran, the other day he wants Iceland. This can't be tolerated. I am against such war. So there'll be a lot of people who will buy this. And rightly so. That Trump is not the king of the world. Nor is USA the only country in this, universe. And we don't have to live by US dictates. So all these things are coming out slowly. Okay. Even now the Europeans have started talking. They've issued a joint statement, and it will be pressure. It will be pressure both on US and it will be pressure on Iran. More on Iran than US. US is not bothered. Trump is that way. Pezeshkian has come out yesterday and he said, we are not seeking war with Muslim countries. They are our brothers. But he says conflict has been instigated by our vicious enemy, which is Israel and USA, by sowing division amongst Muslims and all that. Unfortunately, what he's talking and what his IRG is talking and what his army is talking, three different things. His regime is talking is three different things. So no one can trust him. I wouldn't say trust him for the not integrity point of view. He doesn't have value. He doesn't have depth, political depth. And this clip of Netanyahu, which I couldn't show yesterday, I'm showing. It's two clips I showed. I'll play both the clips. You'll understand, and I'll explain them both one by one.
It's often said that you can't do revolutions from the air. That is true. You can't.
So you can't do revolutions from the air. You have to go on ground. That's what he says. Yesterday I said that.
You can do a lot of things from the air, and we're doing, but there has to be a ground component as well. There are many possibilities for this ground component, and I take the liberty of not sharing with you all those possibilities.
So he's not saying
It is
anything,
often said-
right? So there is a ground possibility on the cards, and that possibility, to my way of thinking, will emerge next month, not next month, next week, earliest, late next week, after Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Because somewhere today that US Tripoli will come into play. Some more Marines are coming from somewhere, wherever they're getting. Plus the Israeli capability. All this put together, they have a plan. So let's see how that plan works out. Right? I've told you my way of looking at it, but my way of looking at it is I don't know 100% of the ground. I'm looking at maps and talking. Okay. What are the factors on ground? And we'll see. And then he said something else, alternate route. I'm reiterating it today.
What has to be done is to have alternative routes instead of going through the choke points of the Hormuz Straits and the Bab el-Mandeb Straits. In order to have the flow of oil, just have oil pipelines going west through the Arabian Peninsula, right up to Israel, right up to our Mediterranean ports, and you've just done away with the choke points for forever.
So this is the IMEC. I am very convinced now that the IMEC will come. Okay, IMEC will happen. It's a matter of time, right? The political thing. You see, one of the things which Iran has done is they're ensuring that the IMEC will come. All countries will say we need an outlet away from this. What Iran is doing. What if Iran does tomorrow? So the IMEC will come through. Now, if the IMEC comes through, who gets hit? China. Remember, that will kill the bloody BRI in this area. So, you have to understand the effect of one action on the other. And this is what I've been telling. This will be good for India in the long run. Okay. Right. Now, I want to turn to Pakistan a bit. Now, there is a lot of talk about India mediating, India to get into a mediating position and all. That Pakistan as Pakistani are having heartburn. It's not only heartburn, they're having a burn at the wrong end also of their alimentary canal. Now listen to what these chaps say and see how biased the Pakistanis are. Look, I keep going back to Pakistan. And I'll tell you why I'm keep going back to Pakistan. Because something that Abdul Basit spoke, and I'll show you, I keep going back to Pakistan. In every analysis of mine, I come up with Pakistan.
तजवीज़ आई है वो ये है कि इसका कोई नॉन मिलिट्री सोल्यूशन लिया जाए और ऐसे मेरे ख्याल में जो ममालिक के जिन पे ईरान ट्रस्ट करता हो, लेकिन इसमें इंडिया का नाम आना मेरे ख्याल में एक रेड फ्लैग है कि इंडिया का नाम क्यों लिया जा रहा है इस वक्त.
So they're worried about India getting into the mediation role. Okay, and they're okay.
ख्याल में क्यों लिया जा रहा है?
मेरे ख्याल में इसलिए कि आपने देखा कि शायद हो सकता है कि कोई इस तरह का मामला हो कि अभी जैसे ईरान ने इंडिया के 2 तजारती जहाज़ भी जाने दिए हैं, छोड़े हैं, तो हो सकता है कि पसे पर्दा कोई इस तरह की
इंडिया ने तो पाकिस्तान के जहाज भी छोड़े हैं, ईरान ने पाकिस्तान के जहाज भी छोड़े हैं।
जी, मतलब ये कि वो इंडिया को उसमें कोई रोल देना होगा, क्योंकि जाहिर है कि अगर एक इस तरह की अरेंजमेंट वो चाहते हैं कि एंटी ईरान रहे, तो उसमें इंडिया का साथ होना।
आपसे बार बार इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ कि फिनलैंड जो है वो बिल्कुल बहुत दूर है,
बहुत दूर,
हमारे खिते से बहुत दूर है, वहां से बैठ के वो
So, you remember Alexander Stubb, the president of Finland, he said India can mediate. Earlier also people have said if Modi lifts up and calls both, everything will be done. So people are talking of this and Pakistan is worried. Right? There's a problem within Pakistan. They look, anything where India progresses they feel it's at their expense. And very funnily they think they should be part of this mediation. You just think, do you want a beggar to mediate between two rich people? Fundamentally, if there are two households who are fighting, the beggar on the street come and mediate, isn't it? He'll get a kick. So this is where Pakistan is. But it is the feeling which Pakistanis have. And this is exemplified by what this fellow Abdul Basit said yesterday.
लेट से ईरान सूरत हाल ख़राब हो जाती है, इसराइल आके हमारे पास हमारे सामने बैठ जाता है, कल को कोई ऐसी सूरत हाल डेवलप हो जाती है जहाँ अमेरिका भी हमारे न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम को ऐसी बुरी नज़र से देखता है या हमारी न्यूक्लियर कैपेबिलिटी को तबाह करने की कोशिश, जो कि इम्पॉसिबल है। बट मैं ऐसे वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो की बात कर रहा हूँ जो कि नामुमकिनात में से है मेरे ख्याल में, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान के अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इतनी कैपेबिलिटी है कि अपना डिफेंस कर सके। लेकिन अगर लेट्स से कोई ऐसी सूरत हाल बन जाती है जो कि नामुमकिनात में से, बट स्टिल एक सिनेरियो हम डेवलप करते हैं कि अगर अमेरिका ने पाकिस्तान पे कोई हमला कर दिया, हमारे तो अगर हमारे न्यूक्लियर रेंज में नहीं भी अमेरिका, लेट्स से अगर हम खलीजी ममालिक में जो है उनके अड्डों तक भी नहीं पहुंच सकते या हम इसराइल पे भी हमला नहीं कर सकते, हमारे लिए क्या वाइज रास्ता होगा आपके ख्याल में? इंडिया हमने तो देखिए और कुछ नहीं करना। हमने तो अगर हमारी रेंज वहां ना भी हुई और अगर हम पे कुछ किसी ने बुरी नजर से देखा तो हमने तो बगैर सोचे समझे भारत पे, मुंबई पे अटैक कर देना है, न्यू दिल्ली पे कर देना है, हमने तो छोड़ना नहीं है। देखी जाएगी बाद में, छोड़ना चाहिए भी नहीं अगर हमारे पास और कोई रास्ता नहीं होगा।
So he says it doesn't matter who attacks us, we'll attack India. So what does this tell us? Any irrationality, anything which happens anywhere else, an irrationality will come on us. If that is the case, I should be rational enough to understand this and sort out Pakistan before he can think of this. Isn't it? Very fundamental. Is our military establishment thinking of that way? Or telling them, partner, you think you're going to put two bombs on Delhi and Bombay, all that, and then that's the end of Pakistan. You tell them beforehand only. Don't think like this idiot. In any case, he's an absolute hater, India hater. I've interacted with him earlier, long back. I met him once during the Independence Day. I think 2015 or 16. He was then the Pakistan ambassador to India. But complete anti-Indian. He hates India and irrational, very irrational. Now, when such irrational people going, and incidentally, he's been thrown out by his own establishment. When such irrational characters start becoming, talk like this, they instigate people in Pakistan. So this instigation is huge. People think that way. As it is, that's a stupid nation. They are worried that, we will negotiate. The moment we negotiate between all this and get things to close, our position in West Asia will become so high that Pakistan is finished. So we have to be also constantly keeping an eye on Pakistan. That's why right. The next thing which I, want to talk of, or rather, right, there's something very interesting which he came out. Foreign ministry has come out yesterday and said, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with leaders of Oman, Malaysia, France, Jordan, and Qatar. Right? He's also spoken to Kazakhstan, outlining India's position on the West Asia conflict and stressing dialogue, de-escalation, and peace. He strongly condemned attacks on energy infrastructure while all sides reaffirmed support for safe navigation through the Strait of Hormuz and continued coordination. He also conveyed the festive greetings and appreciated support for the safe return of Indian nationals. Now, similar discussions were held with Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, France's President Emmanuel Macron, and Jordan's King Abdullah. All this fine. Now, he's also spoken to Pezek Shah. So, you see that slowly India is getting into the mediation game. Is he mediating? The next step is mediation. He's spoken to all. He has to now speak to USA. He has to speak to Netanyahu. He's spoken to Pezek Shah. Let's see where it goes. I hope something comes out. Because this will give us tremendous diplomatic leeway, and this diplomatic leeway will turn into slowly into economic and power play and all that down the line. Okay, and then I'll come to the almost the last thing of my presentation today. What is our internal issues of our, the status of oil and gas and all this present thing? We'll have a look at it.
आज की अपडेट में सारी रिफाइनरीज आर ऑपरेटिंग एट हाईएस्ट कैपेसिटी विद एडिक्वेट क्रूड इन्वेंट्री। डोमेस्टिक एलपीजी प्रोडक्शन लगभग 40% तक पहुंच चुका है। रिटेल आउटलेट्स पर कोई ड्राई आउट नहीं है और सफिशिएंट स्टॉक अवेलेबल है। नेचुरल गैस के संबंध में जैसा हम अभी तक सभी कंज्यूमर्स से अपील करते आए हैं कि जहां पर वो पीएनजी पर शिफ्ट हो सकते हैं वहां हो। इस संबंध में राज्य सरकारों से भी रिक्वेस्ट की गई है, उन्हें भी पत्र लिखे गए हैं। 18 तारीख के एक पत्र में एडिशनल 10% एलपीजी एलोकेशन की बात भी की गई है अगर स्टेट सीजीडी नेटवर्क के एक्सपेंशन को सपोर्ट करते हैं। इस संबंध में मैं बताना चाहूँगी कि हमें राजस्थान सरकार से एडिशनल एलोकेशन की एक रिक्वेस्ट भी आई है विच इज़ अंडर कंसिडरेशन। और पिछले लगभग 3-4 दिनों में टॉप 15 जीएस के अंदर लगभग 13,700 से भी ज़्यादा कनेक्शंस दिए गए हैं और लगभग 7,500 कंज्यूमर्स एलपीजी से पीएनजी पर शिफ्ट हुए हैं। एलपीजी वॉर के चलते स्थिति अभी भी चिंताजनक बनी हुई है, किंतु हमारे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स पर कोई ड्राई आउट रिपोर्टेड नहीं है।
So, okay. So, the point is this. You see, the situation inside is not that worrisome. Oil, we are okay. LPG, we have a problem. That lady has also said. And I think the government is handling it well. And I think the state governments and central government together will get together and get the right things happening. Let me give you a personal experience. Yesterday we had to, we had one cylinder. After all, everyone has double cylinder and all. We have one cylinder which has been going on for the past 3 months. And, one guy who works for us, he says, I don't have a cylinder. So we just gave it to him. And then we booked a cylinder. Right. After all, he's a chap who he didn't have anything. So I said, take it, we'll manage. So I booked a cylinder. Initially, there was no reply. But when I went and checked out, he said, sir, there's no problem of cylinders. I went to the distributor. He said, there's no problem of cylinders. Please give a missed call on this number. Automatically, you'll get a booking. In about 8-10 days, you'll get a cylinder. And I did that. After about 5-6 hours, I got the confirmation that my cylinder is booked. And 8-10 days it will come. And I see people getting deliveries. I see, suddenly when there's a shortage, you start seeing things. So yesterday and day before, as we were going up and down, going around the city for jobs, normal day-to-day jobs, suddenly I see a lot of people delivering cylinders. These guys which you probably otherwise don't see, who go on those tricycles to give, deliver cylinders. They're happening. So don't panic. Let's not panic. Right. At the end, all I'd like to say is, I'd like to thank all of you who attended this patiently. And I'd also like to thank, all of you from P Gurus who have come on my channel to see this. Do subscribe to both channels. and also, join in as members and all that. I'll take a few questions and I'll spend a little time because many of the members would be feeling that, look, for a long time I have not answered them. But please bear with me because the response is so much, the attendance is so much, and your comments are so many. I'm not able to handle it. That's the thing. And I don't have a second guy to handle. Right? Like I said, this is my hobby. Maybe now, if the thing goes up, I'll have to handle someone to handle all these comments and all that. But I'll take some of them. Don't worry. After I take the starred ones, I'll take all. Okay. Jagdish Yellappu, thanks a lot for joining as a YouTube member. How can India use Abdul Basit's threats against Pakistan? Yeah, you tell them. I told you. Why you try this and I'll tell you what I'll do. And then you have to use this and tell everyone this is Pakistan. Sort them out. You have to tell America this is what it is. You do anything, help them. You want to help them? They are developing missiles to hit you. And if by chance you hit them, they can't hit you, they're going to hit us. So you have to play this diplomatically, right? I'm sure we are. Respected sir, is it not possible that Americans have evolved in some new way strategy after the bitter experiences in Vietnam and Afghanistan? Of course they have. They're not going into Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, Iraq, and Vietnam, they went in physically, isn't it? They went in physically. What have they done in Syria and here? They're not gone in physically. Here they've used their military in non-contact kinetic mode. Contact any will be minimal. In Syria, they didn't do anything. They used that HTS, Hizbullah Tahrir something, which, of that Al-Jolani, and created a revolution. Here, they didn't have that capability of doing it. That is why all this. Will the Board of Peace Sunni Islamic NATO coalition launch a land invasion of Iran to dismantle IRGC, install Pehli as a constitution? No. No. There will not happen. No, there will be no large-scale offensive of Iran because you can't do that. First and foremost, all these GCC, NATO, PATO, all these people don't have the capability to do all that, nor has the build-up taken place. If that build-up is to take place, it will take another 3 months. And after that, look, unlike Iraq, which is, plains, Iraq is all plains. Iran is a mountainous country. Mountains, all your effort, the whole story will change. That is why they'll not set foot. If they set foot, it will be on the coastal regions to capture. Like I said, setting foot, ground option, I see only 2 points. Maybe a third will come up as a diversionary. The first point will be Strait of Hormuz, islands, some part of that far bank, bridgeheads, hold, and mask. Ensure the free flow of Hormuz. Second, Karg Island. But I don't see that happening. And third, any other point along the coast. Fourth option, diversion from Pakistan, Balochistan. बस इसके अलावा ग्राउंड एक्शन होने का संभावना ही नहीं है. Okay, right. Then the next one. USA is indeed a superpower, but not a hyperpower. Its risk appetite has plummeted. It no longer has the guts to deploy boots on ground, nor has the stomach to accept thousands of body bags. Akshar, I agree with you 100%. But don't think its risk appetite has plummeted. They are fighting a different war. Look at Venezuela. Its risk appetite. Look at this. Trump is a person who's taken tremendous risks. If he didn't have the risk appetite to go in for a war, see, that's what I told yesterday also. The concept of war, the concept of victory, and the concept of risk, the concept of outcomes are far different from what it was earlier. The whole idea of conflict is different. So it is not as if violence will not be there, but violence will be applied in a different manner. For that, America has taken that risk. Like I also said, has he won the battle? At one level, he's already won the battle. Be rest assured, he's won the battle at one level. It is this physical battle with Iran which is going on, which he's struggling. Even that he'll not lose. At best, neither will lose. If both will claim victory. Because the notion of victory and loss has also changed. Right. Iran's distributed and decentralized system has endured USA's shock and awe strategy, even though its top leadership has gone. The people have taken batons from them without regime collapse. I don't agree they've taken batons without regime collapse. This is a structured way of operating in cells. But having said that, I think they've regrouped internally. There is some system happening, there's some system of coordination and communication happening back. And they're operating today. There's some kind of a consonance between the political and the military actions. In between, they had gone and they were operating independently. But I don't think they're operating independently. Why they're not operating independently? Two attacks. The attack on Demona and the attack on Digo Gasha tells me that someone is thinking. He might be thinking wrong, but someone is thinking. The leadership, there's some modicum of leadership which is coming up. They might be completely off track, but it's there. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your contribution, Hanif. And thanks a lot for gifting 5 P Gurus membership, right? And Akshar, both Ukraine and Iran were supposed to be short-term conflicts. I'm happy with the foresight with Pakistan. We ensured we don't waste our energy in war, but channel it towards, yeah, again, it's a matter of objectives. What are the objectives? And having set an objective, if you achieved an objective, you should quit. We set an objective against terror to tell Pakistan, look, you do something like Pahalgam again, there's going to be costs. Having given that message, having destroyed 11 of their airfields, you could quit and exit. And having brought Pakistan down to its knees, you could exit. But in this case, have their objectives been met? No. What are their objectives defined? Vague. Right? So, if you don't meet any of your objectives, your wars will go interminably long. That's the problem. We had a clear objective, our objectives were met, we exited. That's how it is. Their headache. Right? So, I think we need to develop DEW to address the hypersonic missile problem and power it using a dedicated. Oh, look, that's wild. You can't have a dedicated nuclear power reactor just for a weapon. Okay. And that weapon you can't move then. So we'll leave it at that. I'm glad your imagination is running ahead of time, but that's where it is. Okay, I'll take a few more questions because some people, at least of members on Gunner Shot, so that. Oh, hmm. Look, there are a lot of talks of bucks and non-bucks and all that. My request to all of you is just leave that kind of talk out of this equation when you come on Gunner Shot. Right? There are no bucks and non-bucks and all. We are all. I believe in being a person who stands for India, patriot. I would prefer a patriotic way of doing things than rather than ethnic way of doing things or a nationalistic way of doing things or a political way of doing things. See, I have no politics. I have only one thing, patriotism. It's not even nationalism. Nationalism is somewhere connected with politics. No. Mine is very simple. Okay. Yeah. 10 engineering. Yeah. 10x engineering. As a staunch ally, am I allowed to say Jai Hind? Thank you, Jai Hind, to all of you. And all that. And Sundar Krishna, good morning. Long time. Ramakrishna also, good morning. Yeah, reaction to, I've told you about Basit's nuke, what the story is. Yeah, it looks like Iranians modified the missile so that it doesn't go straight rather than serpentine. Yeah, look, that is part of control and guidance. It's not something very great. Everyone does it. Everyone knows it. And MV Kiran, good morning. Shreya here is traveling today. I suppose in a couple of days he'll be back in action. Yeah, had the good fortune of meeting General Narayanan at JD Konkan Serpent. Oh, so yeah, these people have gone there. I understand. Yeah. Do you think Israel may be forced to use a tactical nuke against IRGC with? No, I don't think so. At this point of time, no, I don't think that'll happen. Right? And yeah, the bestest analysis at 9. Hit, like, and share. Thanks a lot, Ramakrishnan, for your thing. And Shruti Chandak, namaskar. Anil says, can India have similar int like Israel in Iran about Pak army's general? We have. We have good int. Don't counter us out. Go and see Durandar. You'll understand. Right? Mm. Yeah, you had recommended India play an active role for peace. What are one or two things India should do? We should start talking, as simple as that. We've actually started. We gave them a platform. And now our Prime Minister is reaching out. We don't have to do anything else. We just continue what we are doing already. India Today Enclave, we gave a platform to everyone. Even in Raisina Dialogues, we gave a platform to everyone. We already reassured Iran by returning their soldiers. The ship is there, it'll go back. We must have reassured them by now. So the matter of reassurance, we are doing that. There's no doubt about it. Have no doubts. We are okay, on track. Okay. Yeah, I understand in between there was no sound. Let me see some more. Israeli handles spreading rumor that Iranian Pezeshkian has requested asylum in India. This will happen. Narratives, right? So this Santosin is some Chinese bot chap. Please block that guy. Let him come. Let him talk. We at least know how they think. Pramod Kumar Sinha, sir, by destroying Iran's infrastructure, is not US consolidating local people behind the mullahs? It's happening. I agree with you. With every strike, 100 of yeah, this is a game which is going on. Unfortunately, in this, I think America has lost because those people who were not for the regime also would now be for the regime. That's one of the unfortunate things which have happened. Okay. Do we have administration or moderators? No, so far, no, I'm not this thing, but sooner or later I'll put someone on as an administrator. LPG ship carrying LPG cargo from USA just arrived at New Mangalore port. Yeah. After all, we have started dealing. Yeah, we want LPG now from USA. You want LPG from Russia. You are getting LPG from Australia also. So it'll start. So we'll do what we have to do. You mean to say we'll stop functioning as a nation just because there's a war on? No. How many beautiful jets down? Oh, well, they will be down. And at the right time, we should also put it out to USA. He says, na, 6-7 planes went down, ye, wo, all that. So we'll also talk. Time आएगा उसका. हर वक्त का time आएगा. Don't worry. Yeah, same thing, Karthik. Yes, I agree with you. I didn't read that, but I suppose it's coming. Iran is not surviving. This might take some time, but they're done. No, we'll see. Don't come to a conclusion on all this in a hurry. Okay. I thought we would be able to sell weapons to at least UAE. Damn, no, we are doing it. It's come out. No, that UAE wants BrahMos and Akash. In fact, I've missed showing that clip. I'm not clip that news item to all of you. They are taking. They want BrahMos and Akash. Look, it's cheaper. It's better. As simple as that. Are they firing artillery from warships? No, from land. ATACMS has got a range of 300 kilometers. One can only sympathize with the Iranian people. The mullahs are going for broke, not factoring long term consequences for the people. The clergy lives a life of abundance. But yeah, I agree with you. Complete, Sundar. Complete. Complete. मुझे सदाम हुसैन की स्कड मिसाइल की याद आ रहा है यूएसएसआर में या एक्चुअली दे प्लेड अ politically stupid way of doing things. बारी बरसी कटन गया सी. Okay, right, let me see any more. Iran strike on Saudi had come down according to you or not? I've shown you the figures here. I've shown you the missile figures and the figures. Have a look at it. Go back and have a look at it. Yeah. Let me look at others. Okay. Yeah, is there no merger of TV channels? The clip from there is no merger of TV channels. The clip from 2020 down during Abraham Accord when there was. We'll see how things happen. There's some news which is coming out. It might be false news also. See, I don't have any method of saying this is false or not completely. I do check whether it is happening or not, but at times it's possible that I might myself be giving you wrong, but 90%, 99% I don't give you wrong news. 1% I can't help it. Right? Okay. Right. Someone said, no, I gave a thing about, let me see where someone asked, yeah, that's why I got back to you, Gavin. I asked a question yesterday about the power grid attack, but General had no time. Can this actually be done, sir? Yes, it can be done. They've tried it in Russia, isn't it? Ukraine. They've tried it in Ukraine and Russia. And the capability for them, for the Americans to do is much more. So they can. And they would have had a plan. All this today, everyone has a plan. You see, the Russia-Ukraine war has been a laboratory for all these testings. Okay. Okay, I think we're done for the day. I've largely finished every thing. I've spent some time answering all your questions. Yeah. So, right, evening we'll talk about India, a little about India, the energy and things like that. I've not made up my mind what I'll talk, but I'll do come in. We'll at about 8 o'clock or so. We'll talk 8:30, 9 depends because I have a meeting in the afternoon in IIT. It depends when I come back and how I am. Then will do. Till then, have a great time. Enjoy yourself. Sunday, take care. So you might be thinking, Sunday, why am I going to IIT? I do work. Just to reinforce that. With this, thank you. Have a great day and Jai Hind to all of you.